is complicated is life only. You should know the meaning.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then we will get the videos. No problem. And those who are not coming, I mean, yeah, we will also get. No problem. Sir is working on it. I will listen. Done. When we start now. Okay. Last topic of module 3. Some other topics are there like conflicts, managing conflicts. But I guess those things you can read and you can understand on your own. Rather, you can write also on your own. The conflicts, how to manage conflicts, what are the probable solutions of managing conflicts, those things, right? As you all know that we have to quickly finish it off. So therefore, those things will get the study materials and the things which I think it is required to discuss, that we'll discuss in class. So this is the last topic of module 3. Module 4 is the biggest one, 12 hours topic. That is export, import, exim, letter of credit, all those things. Right? I guess yesterday we were discussing about the regional trade blocks, types of regional trade blocks, what can be the advantages, disadvantages. So there we were talking about some terms like tariff, trade barriers, right? So this particular topic is mainly focused on trade barriers. Exactly trade barriers. Why the host country wants to impose the trade barrier, as well as different types of tariffs, non-tariff barrier as well as tariff barriers, right? So we will try to complete it today. I mean, yesterday only we discussed trade barriers. These are nothing but these are the roadblocks, or we can say that these are the obstacles in order to moving the goods and services as well as the payments from one destination to another. Now here one destination to another is nothing but one country to another country, right? Since we are talking about business across national boundaries, so destination and as well as the source means the countries, the destination country and the host country as well. So trade barriers are nothing but these are the obstacles, the roadblocks, which being imposed in order to block the smooth transition of goods and services or payments from one country to another country. Fine. Now, this trade barriers or these blocks are nothing but the rules and regulations which are being made by some kind of organization. That means these are completely man-made, right? Whenever we are going to talk about trade barriers, we are not going to talk about some kind of natural disaster. Generally, yeah, I mean, natural disaster is also a roadblock in order to doing business in one country to another. But when we are going to talk about the tariffs, the trade barriers, mainly these are man-made, right? Obviously, they have some objectives in order to make those barriers. So, what are those objectives that we will discuss? One thing they say that in spite of WTO, trade barriers exist, right? WTO, nothing but World Trade Organization. So their main motto is basically smooth transition of products and services across the various countries. The world should be a flat market. That was the main objective, or that was the main motto of WTO when it came into picture. But then again, in spite of this motto or objective of WTO, trade barriers are there. These will be there. Now, what are the reasons mainly? The first thing is to protect your domestic market from the foreign goods, right? See, if you do not have any kind of barrier, any kind of block in case of moving the goods and services from one country to another country, that means there is no obstacle, no roadblock in case of import-export, then the domestic market will be flooded with the foreign goods. It might be possible. You really do not have any kind of roadblocks. You want to get that product, you will get that product. Then what about the domestic market? What about the local manufacturer? Yes, you have to provide the superior quality products and services to your customers, but that should not be at the cost of abolishing the domestic marketplace. Obviously, in order to protect them, you have to have some roadblock in case of free import export from the foreign countries. Second, obviously, you have to promote the new industries. You have to promote the R&D activities in your home market. For example, India is not having any kind of advanced technology. Till that India is importing. It doesn't mean that India should always import. Doesn't mean that for eternity India should always buy that thing from foreign country. Then what about the local market? Whether no R&D opportunities there in local market, as you all know, the basics of marketing. If you do not go for R&D, market will lose its attractiveness. The local markets are not going to be there. Then what? Your entire market will be diminished. Correct? So, in order to promote those R&D activities, in order to promote those industries, you must have to put a roadblock in order to block that free, smooth transition of goods and services from foreign country. Right? I guess you all know that there was a chip shortage in global market for that mobile speaker. Right? There was a huge chip shortage is going on. So Tata said that they will try to manufacture this chip. Correct, Vishma? Yes, Tata has come into. Yes, Vishma. I think Dixon Technology is there.
Tata will collaborate with Dixon Technology and start manufacturing chips.
That is what. But Tata said that we are going to manufacture the chip. Now, anyways, Dixon Technology is going to manufacture products for all this, boat and all, because they cannot import from China anymore because of this political tension. Now, there is a chip shortage in global market. Based on that, are Indian companies are going to be shut down just because chip shortage is there in global market? Obviously no. You have to go ahead for R&D. You have to promote this new industry. That's why Tata and Dixon Technology is coming forward in order to promote this particular R&D activity. You have to. You cannot always depend upon the global market coverage to get a thing in your local market. Favorable balance of payment, BOP, finance people know. What is BOP? Import export. What minus what?
Import and export payment.
That's true. What minus what?
What minus?
Is it export minus import or import minus export?
For India, export minus import.
It is export minus import, right? Thank you. Sometimes I also learn from Vishmaya. Honestly speaking, I told Sir yesterday that I am learning many things from Vishmaya also. Many new news. Sir was laughing. I don't know why. Okay. No, yeah. See, BOP, it's export minus import, right? Generally, the balance, as we say, the balance between the import and export. Right? See, you have to maintain a favorable balance between your import and export. It should not be that your import is more, export is less. That is also a very negative aspect for a country. Again, if you export more, in that case, the chances of currency devaluation is very high, right? I guess, Vishwanu's rest in 2016, what China did, China devaluated their currency, that is yen. Why they devaluated? Because they wanted other countries to import more and more from their country, from China, right? They,
2019 also, when 2018, Donald Trump time, trade war between US and China. That time also.
that
is illegal.
that is illegal, obviously. That is what antitrust law. But then again, intentionally China devaluated yen in 2016. In that case, nothing happened, but entire BOP level or entire BOP standard got impacted in a negative way. So obviously, you have to maintain a favorable balance in your BOP. That is the balance in import and export. Correct? That is what we think. I don't know. I need to learn from the finance people. Right? Rita. Pritam, when did you wake up exactly? 10:30? Sorry, 9:30 you woke up. 9:45. Yeah? 9:20. I don't believe. 9:30 you woke up, brush.
Fresh only, don't do like this, fresh only.
Brush only. No, thank God, Priyanka at least mentioned that you had brushed. Hostelites. Oh. Fine, no problem. So obviously, come. Very good. Very good.
Good morning, ma'am.
Hi, very good morning, Gulkar. Fine, all came. I'm very glad that Preetham came. This is something, I didn't expect. Fine, okay. Hi, Yogeshwar. Yogeshwar, it might be possible that you are in fourth semester, but the rules and regulations are same. Okay? Fine? Chalo. Done, all are here. Yes. I know. It's okay. See, those who are going to see the recordings, even they also know that. Who you all are. It's okay. Okay, fine. Now, to those who have come, so we just discussed about trade barrier. What is trade barrier? Trade barrier is nothing but the roadblocks in order to prevent the smooth transition of goods and services from one country to another. That's we discussed. We discussed that these are the man-made trade barriers, and then we are discussing why exactly the trade barriers are or these have come into picture. The first thing is you have to protect your domestic market players. Right now, if you started importing, exporting more and more from foreign country, what about your domestic players? So, in order to protect them, you have to have trade barriers. Next, we discussed that it might be possible that one particular kind of product or service or one particular kind of technology is not there present in your market. That doesn't mean that you have to import that for eternity from the foreign market. Right? You cannot do that. In order to prevent that, you have to promote the new industries, the R&D activities in your country or in your local market. Right? Then we get the example that Dixon and Tata is coming together in order to produce the semiconductor chip. As we all know that there is a chip shortage in the global market. Right? You cannot depend on global market coverage for everything. So that's why now they are promoting this particular R&D activity. Third, we discussed BOP, balance of payment, right? Finance people, they all know. Another big finance people, Manthan, just beside you, right? Both, correct. BOP, export minus import, that is the balance between the export and import. So now if any country start importing more and more, that balance is going to be disturbed. If any, Ishwan?
It's called current deficit.
Yes, deficit. Okay, if you start importing more and more, that is a disturb. if you start exporting more and more, obviously that is also a disturbance. Why? Because by that sometimes your currency devaluation happens. Fine? No. Okay. Now, to conserve the foreign exchange reserves of the country by restricting imports from foreign countries, right? Foreign exchange reserve, you all know that every country should have some foreign exchange reserve, right? The more foreign exchange reserve is more beneficial for the country, right? Now, if you start importing more and more, there is no roadblock, there is no any kind of trade barrier. And you started importing more and more and more. Obviously, the foreign exchange reserve is going to be impacted because that is going to be less. And as I said, more foreign exchange reserve, more beneficial for the nation.
Yeah.
So,
But the thing is, the recent scenario, Russia war is happening. So Russia has the second, third highest of foreign currency of US dollar. So right now US sanction on them. They cannot use their foreign currency. What is the use of having that much currency? All world get know that.
that is right now this general issue between US and Russia and Ukraine, right?
That's the thing. Like if some
But generally, every country should have the reserve for that foreign exchange. Correct? I mean, that is the general fundamental. The more the foreign exchange reserve, the more beneficial for the country. Now, yes, based on specific circumstances, whether you are able to use that or not, that is a question mark. But then again, you have to have that foreign exchange reserve, right? You can take the scenario of Sri Lanka itself. Right? The entire economy got destroyed like anything. Now what? So obviously, based on the circumstances, it is going to be changed. That whether it is beneficial or not. But every country should have a specific foreign exchange reserve. That is required. Otherwise, as you only said, that I mean, Ukraine, the entire thing has changed suddenly. Nobody foreseen that. Sri Lanka, suddenly, I mean, what to do? It might be possible that someday our country also faced some kind of situation like that, right? Anyways, because I am very much scared because of this. You talk about inflation rate, you talk about the market. I am very much scared right now. Then what to do? Right? So obviously, I mean, you have to restrict a kind of import in order to maintain that foreign exchange reserve. You start importing more and more and more. I mean, then obviously your foreign exchange reserve is going to be less. And if something happens like Sri Lanka, what Sri Lanka did the mistake, imports were the sky high for Sri Lanka. Correct? No? Suddenly this happened. Your economy can get impacted in a negative way. So first, obviously, the government will try to balance the economy. Then, yeah, what Vishwan said, that is correct. Whether we will be able to use this or not in an efficient way. Before that, stability of the economy is important. Correct, Vishwan? Yes. Can we move forward?
Yes.
Thank you. National economy from dumping by other countries. We all know the one country who has the expertise in dumping products to other countries, right? China.
There is also for that kind of limits.
That is fine, but China, I mean, it is the biggest dumping country. I always believe. Not only I mean, when you will get the book of Andrews, there you will say that he has directly mentioned the name of China. Because China has the defamation of this dumping thing. Even China used to dump so many products in India itself, right? If you say that Indian market was flooded once with the Chinese products, honestly speaking, it might be very different from your opinion, but somehow that's why I really do not support this particular company more. Vote. Now maybe I'll support for this Dixon technology thing. But actually, it was also a kind of product coming from China only.
I mean, we think that very once told it also.
Uh-huh.
From the spoon where eating, from the spoon where eating, the pan where all
We are writing to the phone we are talking.
all
All are from China itself,
that
right?
that much compared to big spoon of
Exactly. Exactly, it is. I mean, you talk about phone, and why should I even oppose? You talk about my phone. That is also a Chinese BBK, right? It's really. Yeah, I changed my phone. No, I forgot which company phone right now I'm using. Today, okay. After the class, I listen. Generally, I mean, in between class only, I used to ask them, first you have to tell me why you are laughing, then I'll take the class. But now, after the class, now Priyanka is thinking that, okay, when you were in first semester, you tortured me like anything. Just because I laughed with Prithviraj. Now you are giving Vishmaya. Huh? No, it's not like that. After the class, I asked. Okay, so I mean, you only say the dumping, the most famous name, China, right? See, it's not only China, it might be some other country also. Like we are telling China from our perspective. From other country perspective, it might be some other country who dumps product to foreign countries. In order to protect that, actually you have to have some trade barriers. Now, if there is no trade barrier, China will think that okay, this particular product and no quality, our people are not going to use it. So dump it to other country. Because there is anyways, there is no rules, no regulations, no provision, no obstacles. You just start dumping it. By doing that, our consumer base or our market or our customers are going to have the lowest quality of product. Our local market players are going to be impacted in the negative way, and obviously the local market economy is going to be hampered in the negative way. So you have to stop this dumping. And for that, you have to have some roadblocks. You have to have some rules in order to stop that countries like China to dump the product in other countries. Right? I made a mistake. And you didn't tell me that. Hmm. Should be dumping. Now, to mobilize additional reviews by imposing heavy duties. That is normal calculation. You import some or you apply some heavy duties on imports. That means you ask for more amount of money on import duty. Obviously, your revenue is going to be added. Some extra revenue is going to be generated. The import duty, which was earlier 2%, now if you make it 4%, obviously it is going to add some additional revenue to the country's account, right? Not necessarily that every time you have to, import or you have to apply heavy import duties in order to make additional revenues. But yes, sometimes government does this because that is also a source of revenue generation for government. Counteract trade barrier by other countries. This is nothing but okay, XYZ did this, I'll do much better than that. This is nothing but that. Some other country has made or some other country has imposed some kind of trade barrier which maybe India doesn't like. So India will counteract that particular trade barrier by making some new rules and regulation, maybe only for that particular country. So you have to counteract. So it's not always that all the trade barriers coming from foreign countries should be favorable to you. Not necessarily. So in order to counteract, you also have to come up with some kind of trade barriers. Last one, encourage domestic production. And obviously, when there will be a roadblock in importing product, obviously your market, your customer needs products of good quality. Might be possible you have to come up with an R&D facility in order to get a new product. In that case, you simply cannot rely on import always. You have to encourage your domestic market production. As I said in the first point itself, otherwise, what will be the future of your domestic market? You are simply giving the money to the foreign countries. Their economy is getting boosted. What about your economy? What about your domestic marketplace? So you have to encourage them. Now, if products are coming without any kind of obstacle every day in your country, then obviously there will be no need of domestic production itself. You have to stop it. Only then you can encourage the domestic players to come up for the production. Is it clear? You have to write this, explain this in your own words, right? If the question comes like, generally the question comes as till now, explain the reasons of trade barriers imposing by the host countries. Same thing, objectives of trade barriers. 5 marks, obviously small, one or two lines of explanation. 10 marks, you can give examples also, no problem. Dhiren is like, still you are stuck with examples? Yeah, I always believe, Dhiren, that examples are the best source of explaining or learning anything. That's why. Fine. So if it comes by 10 marks, anyways, already you have given first sem exam, second sem you did give, third sem exam you did. So you all know how to write the paper, right? Can we move forward? Okay. Now, as I say, types of trade barriers: tariff barrier and non-tariff barrier. Now, these are the types of non-tariff barrier. All these are the types of non-tariff barriers. Fine. The first type is quota system. Now, quota system is nothing but the host country is going to decide that how much import, export, or how much quantity of goods and services can be imported or exported. The host country will fix it. For example, if the host country says that the percentage is 34%, should be 34%. Beyond that, nothing. Quota. Under quota system, there are 4 types: tariff, unilateral, bilateral, and mixed. Tariff, then again, nothing but not only a particular quantity, they will tell you the particular amount of currency exchange as well. That means the particular amount of money. If you talk about the money, how much you can spend, how much you can use in order to transition of this particular goods and services. That is not only quantity of product and services as well as the currency amount. Unilateral is nothing but it is based on the volume of the goods and services and what kind of goods and services you are going to export or import. Based on that, they will put a particular tariff. They will put a particular roadblock, the trade barrier. Bilateral, as Vishmaya was telling yesterday, I hope you remember, preference and free trade, whether it is bilateral or unilateral. As I say, bilateral will be in custom union. Same thing here, the two countries can negotiate among each other in order to fix the rates. Two countries are going to negotiate with each other. No other third party is involved. Two countries are going to be involved. Fine. Megha is laughing. Maybe Megha is thinking that, did I listen yesterday? Is it Megha? Okay. No, Megha? Yes? Megha is like, okay, Vishnu said that. When did he say that? Why did I listen? Okay. Okay, fine. Should I repeat again, Megha? No, Pakka? Yes? Okay. Mixed quota is nothing but that is the obligation. For example, now I have to stop. Yes, Priyanka, go ahead. Yes, Priyanka, go ahead. I'm waiting, Priyanka. Quickly finish. Quick, Priyanka.
As if I am only laughing, but you all of them are laughing.
No, the first one who initiated the laugh, I asked. Quick. I have to go forward with mixed quota.
Mixed quota.
After your, I don't know. the words or something, and the I will go forward. Explain. Now we won't talk. Everyone wants to hear. Yes. Okay, Mishra, you want to say?
Simple.
You want to say why she was laughing?
I don't know, I'm asking that. I laugh because I love
She laughed.
She laughed.
Okay, done. Chalo. That's why I say that, in this entire world, anything can be changed, but you all are not subjected to change. Okay?
Ma'am, I actually asking why you are laughing.
Why I am laughing? The thing is that I am not laughing because they are laughing. I am laughing by thinking the situation where I was standing in 2020. The same position I am standing in 2022 itself. What?
They're not allowing influence on us.
Any influence on you? You made a trade barrier. No foreign influence on you. Okay. Good. Nice example. Don't write that in exam. Okay. Done. Chalo. Prathamesh, rules are not changed. You cannot use mobile phone in class. You are not using. You just saw that whether the mobile is there or not. Thank you. Okay. Quick. Mixed quota. After class, Priyanka, you have to tell. Otherwise, no attendance. Now,
I'm listening now.
okay. See, mixed quota, the government is going to put a particular rules and regulation. In that, it will be clearly mentioned that if you are having a manufacturing plant in any country, first you have to utilize the raw material available in that country to a certain percentage. Only after that, you can go for importing the raw materials from foreign countries in order to complete the production. For example, one company is having a manufacturing plant in India. First, that company has to utilize the raw material available in India, for example, at a ratio or at a percentage or a proportion of 60%. After that, only you can go ahead to import the raw materials or the rest of the raw materials from the foreign country. Mixed quota. A proportion should be there from the national market plus a percentage or a proportion should be there from the foreign market. Clear mixed quota? Is it clear? Yes. Import licensing. Now, import licensing is nothing but you have to get a license from proper authority in order to import goods and services from foreign country. You have to take the license from your country. Understand? You cannot take the license from the country where you are importing. You have to take the license from your country. For example, I am the manufacturer of this particular remote. Obviously, I need some raw material. Might be possible that I am not getting the raw materials or the quality raw materials here. I have to import those raw materials. Fine. Now, in case of import licensing, government will give me license, and there will be mentioned in the license how much proportion I can import from the foreign country for this specific raw material. Now, why government does this? Government does this in order to restrict the quantity of importing raw materials from the foreign countries, right? Now, you may say that then why not in mixed quota? Because sometimes it might be possible that you have to import maximum number of raw material from the foreign country. Maybe you do not have, that superior quality raw material here. In that case, mixed quota is not going to work. That you have to understand as a company, that whether you can go forward with the proportion what is mentioned in mixed quota, whether it is going to be beneficial for you. If it is not, then you cannot. It might be possible that in mixed quota generally in mixed quota it is mentioned the maximum number of proportion from the country where your manufacturing plant is set up, right? Might be possible that your manufacturing plant is set up in India, but you cannot go forward with 60-40 proportion because the raw material quality is not that much superior. In that case, you cannot go forward with mixed quota. How? Are you going to compromise with the quality of your product? Then again, the answer is no. In that case, import licensing, right? You have to, get a license where it will be possible for you to get maximum number of raw materials imported from the foreign country. But then again, the number or the proportion should be mentioned by the authority. The authority from where you are taking the import license, right? Again, I am saying generally government does this in order to control the quantity of importing product and services, right? Because as I said, you cannot leave everything for importing or exporting. In that case, your market players are going to be impacted. Now, next thing is VER, that is voluntary export resistance. Voluntary export resistance are nothing but the company itself resist in order to import product from the foreign country. Why? Because sometimes the company has to go forward with R&D. The company has to go forward with their own manufacturing process. The reason is nothing but government facilities and government subsidiaries, right? Because as per the new rule of government, although I don't know don't know every rule of the new financial policy, but generally government gives subsidiaries, right? Many subsidiaries and facilities companies may get from government. So in order to encash those opportunities, sometimes the companies restrict themselves from importing more and more from the foreign country. Now it might be because of two reasons also for this, these facilities, these subsidiaries, this cash assistance from government, as well as another reason is your foreign exchange reserve, right? In order to balance all those things, sometimes companies take VER, that is voluntarily, they say that, okay, we are going to stop this particular thing, we are going to resist, not to an extensive limit. Next one is state trading. State trading is nothing but it is completely under control of government or government agencies, right? Generally, companies do not talk in case of state trading. This is based on government or government agencies, central, state, both, right? Preferential treatment through trading blocks, nothing but the first point of your types of regional trade blocks. Preference free trade block, what we discussed yesterday. That many kind of facilities, many kind of reduction in tariff, or even the tariff elimination can be happened among the member nations, right? You are a part of a regional trade bloc. That means your country is a part of a regional trade bloc. You may get the facility of reduction in tariff or even elimination in tariff itself. Might be possible that no trade barrier also might be there. So you are going to get the preference because you are the part of, or you are in that particular country, which is the part of a particular regional trade bloc. Next thing is health and safety measures. The name suggests itself. It's nothing. Tell me.
It is fully politics now.
It is different, but we cannot write that, right? We have to write what it is written in book. It's nothing but before doing this import export, that means before this entire transaction, You have to make sure that the product is very much suitable for the health and safety measures of that particular country, right? Because all the countries' health and safety measures are not similar, right? I mean, the health and safety measure what we are having here is completely different from foreign countries. So you have to be very careful from the perspective of different countries that the products what you are importing or the products what you are exporting, whether they are suitable for the health and safety standard of that particular country or not. This is all about the non-tariff barriers. Now you tell me, should I go with tariff barrier? I am not asking you. Okay, should I rest? Should I go ahead with the tariff barrier?
Let's learn properly.
Umamaheshwar Rao, I am not asking even you. Okay, somebody please take this pictures and now only because I need the copy, right? And return me the copy. Okay, from this page to move, move. They will circulate. Don't do anything with my copy. This is my rough copy in college. That is my college copy. Huh?
From trade barriers.
From trade barriers. Page number 92 or something, I guess. Right? Okay. I need the attendance sheet. Or I need the names. Please write the names. HR write one, marketing write one, finance write one. The names I need. And Maxwell, please circulate this thing in blue. Okay, so I will not make another PDF file for this. Don't mind about the handwriting. As I said, this is my rough work. In class, I used to write that.
Knowledge is
Priyanka. Is it coming clear?
Yes.
Okay. Quick. Although this thing is not prepared, the Indian something is there, foreign trade